Just making a quick look video on my Arrma Vendetta. I've been running this one a few times, just getting used to it. I know it looks nice and clean, but it definitely has been used. This one is built on pretty much the same chassis as the Infraction 3S that I've already shown. I got them both at the same time. This one's set up a bit more for your speed run type vehicle. You can see the diffuser there at the back, big aero on it, big aero on the back here. They do give you a different rear section for this wing that is more flat for when you want to do the higher speeds. I haven't got this one geared for really high speeds. I do have the high speed pinion installed that is included with it. So I do have that that comes with it. Same with that wing, it does come with that in the bag. You can change it out. I haven't bothered to change it yet. The finish on this, it's very hard to show on camera, but it's got like this wavy look through the paint. It actually looks really good. The waviness is on top. They paint it on the outside, and it's done in a flat. So the paint job on this actually looks really, really nice. Same Hoons 11 tyres that are on the Infraction 3S. If I take the body off, you can see they do have holes cut in the body. Underneath the body, I have just taped it up a bit. I always do this, just where the wheels go. I just run a bit of tape there just to stop it rubbing. And the chassis actually rubs on those squares at the front, so I just put a little bit there, and that tape in the middle is just for a GPS meter. But you can see, if I put this back down here, before I put the tape on, the tyres had been starting to rub through the body. That's why the tape's there. So if I just put the body over here to the side for a sec. This is the internals. It is literally the same as the Infraction 3S. Same motor. It's the same Spectrum motor. You can see the specs down in here. It's a Firma. It's a 3900 kV. 100 amp speed control. It's also the Firma. The thing that I have added to this is this thing in here. This little guy just here. It's the Spectrum GPS meter. So basically this plugs into your receiver. It won't plug into the receiver that comes with it. I had to change it out to a telemetry receiver, one that has the ports on it. I think it's the AV100 AT, I think it is. That's the receiver. So I swapped that out, and then this plugs into it, and this is actually GPS speed meter that gives you the accurate GPS speed readings, like what the people do with those little portable ones you stick on. But this is actually installed in the car, stays in the car, and I use the Spectrum DX5 Pro, and it actually comes up in the telemetry screen and shows you your speed. And it's not one where you got to calculate rollout or anything like that. It's actually a GPS speed meter. Works really, really well. I'm really happy with it. So that's one thing that I have added, and it is a Spectrum. And if I turn it round, you'll be able to see the model number on it there if you're interested in getting one. Very simple. There is no setup at all. It's just literally got one plug which plugs in the receiver, and it automatically just shows up in the telemetry screen on your radio. Also, when I was using it with the DX3 remote that comes with this, I have the Bluetooth module installed in it with the little mount on top that holds your phone. This GPS receiver also shows up in that. With no setup, it just pops up in the screen, and you can see your GPS speed without doing your roll up and just calculating. Like, that's not very accurate. This is actually a GPS meter. It's well worth getting. Not cheap. I think it's about 120 bucks. So if you're going to put one in every single vehicle you own, it would cost you a fortune. But I only put this in my quote unquote speed run vehicles, like I've got a Limitless. I've got one of them installed in my Limitless. I don't have it in any of my Infractions because I use them more for just having fun. I don't really care too much for speed with them. But I do have the GNSS Fly RC GPS meter that I can put in them if I really want to know the speed. But this is more just an installed. I don't have to bugger around with using an app. It just shows up on my radio. It's just something I wanted to do and test out, and I think it works really well, and I'll be putting it in all my speed run vehicles going forward. So far, done quite a few runs on this. You can see the chassis is starting to get scratched up a bit just at the front there, but these are made to do that. They're more of a replaceable wear item. You can get metal bits that are here that are put on top of this to wear quicker, but I don't think you really need them. You'll get a lot of runs out of it before this is going to wear all the way through, because once it scratches down and makes itself a bit flatter, it doesn't rub as much anymore. It just kind of does this when it's first new. Same with at the back, scratching it up a bit there as well. That's just from just running it on just normal asphalt surfaces, so it is a bit rough. But once it wears to a certain, you know, certain depth of flatness, it doesn't wear much further than that anyway, so it's not too bad of a big deal. These Hoons 11s tyres are actually wearing pretty well. Got a few runs on these battery packs so far, and it's quite hard running, and they're lasting pretty well. The temperature on this when I was running it, no issues at all. I think it was like 50 odd degrees Celsius, so very happy with that. No overheating problems whatsoever. Haven't changed any of the fans or anything. Very happy with that so far. It did get full of little stones and rocks and all sorts of crap when I was running it. The drive shaft's got a few scratches and stuff on it from rocks that get caught in here, and this thing just picks up crap off the road like you wouldn't believe. The infraction's exactly the same. It just, you would think with all these guards and everything around here that it would block some of it, but not at all. There was literally a centimetre of crap and dirt and rocks all through this whole thing, so something you'll have to get used to if you pick yourself up one of these. So far no damage. I haven't crashed it. I do use a Spectrum battery in it. I've got a whole range of Spectrum smart batteries, so I get all my telemetry from everything in this car. I might make a video about the telemetry actually, because it's quite cool if you do have the right gear to get the telemetry. But that's just a quick look of the Arrma Vendetta. It's more sort of a good beginner's speed run vehicle. It's not as what I say, like the Limitless. I think you have got to be a lot more experienced to run the Limitless. There's a lot more work involved, where this is just a get it out of the box, put a battery in it, and you can drive fairly fast. It's pretty well controlled, no dramas. I actually like to run this car before I use my Limitless. It's like a bit of a, I don't know, what do you say, like a warm-up vehicle. Get your head in it a bit, because it's if you've never done speed runs that are getting up there in speed, it's quite intense. So it's good to start off on this for the day, have a few runs with this, get your head around it for a bit, and then go up to your faster vehicles. But if you don't want a Limitless and stuff, this is still a great speed run vehicle. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You don't have to use it for speed runs. You can just drift it around and do everything you do with your infractions. It's not made purely as a speed run vehicle. But yeah, so that's just a quick look. The Arrma Vendetta. I really like it. I think it's cool. It's part of my collection. Yeah, pick one up if you want one.